кладешь?
Закладываю? Да, ракета в воздухе.
Ракета в воздухе. Освоен есть.
All right, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. I'd like to give double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who I learned this truth from. And I'd like to say peace and salutations unto the hopefully elect. And today, it was November 6th, Monday, November 6th, 2023, Missile Monday. Then I want to go into this article from Reuters, and it says Russian nuclear submarine test launches Bolava intercontinental missile. So as you can see in the clip, that I featured in the beginning, that's their missile that they just tested, So I'm just going to go into this article and bring out a few scriptures. Lord willing, this lesson is edifying and straight to the point. And this is from yesterday. And it says Russia's new strategic nuclear submarine, the Imperator Alexander III, has successfully tested a Bolava intercontinental ballistic missile, the Russian Defense Ministry said on Sunday. The missile, which the Federation of American Scientists says is designed to carry up to 6 nuclear warheads, was launched from an underwater position in the White Sea off Russia's north coast and hit a target thousands of kilometers away on the Kamchatka Peninsula in the Russian Far East, the Defense Ministry said. Firing a ballistic missile is the final element of state tests, after which a decision will be made to accept the cruiser into the Navy, a ministry statement said. The Imperator Alexander III is the seventh of the Russian Project 955 Bory Arctic Wind class nuclear submarines and the fourth of the modernized Bory A variant, according to Russian sources. They are known in NATO as the Dolgoruki class of submarines. After the first boat, the Yuri Dolgoruki became the first new generation of nuclear submarine launched by Russia since the Cold War. The Bory-class submarine is armed with 16 Bolava missiles. The 12-meter, 40-foot missile has a range of about 8,000 kilometers, 5,000 miles. And as we know, America is 5,000 square miles from New York to California. So real quick, I just wanted to do this math because it says one of those missiles can carry 6 warheads. And if they have 16 of these, that means that means this submarine has 16 nuclear missiles with 96 warheads, man. That's insane. But again, Russia and America have the most nuclear warheads, man. You can see, this is the picture from the test. Says, since rising to power in 1999, President Vladimir Putin has increased military spending and sought to rebuild Russia's nuclear and conventional forces after the chaos that accompanied the 1991 fall of the Soviet Union. The Ukraine war has triggered the worst crisis in Moscow's relations with the West since the depths the Cold War, and Putin last month said he was not ready to say whether or not Russia should remain, it's like it should resume nuclear testing. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said in an interview aired on Sunday that relations with the United States were below zero. So in other words, they hate America, as well as these other countries that aren't allied with her. And it's understandable. This place is terrible. Continuing on, says relations are at zero, or I would say below zero, Peskov said, though he added that at some point the leaders of Russia and the United States would have to resume contact. Putin has reportedly stated that he is ready for any context, Peskov said. Russia aims to build a total of 10 to 12 Boris-class submarines to be divided between the Northern and Pacific fleets, according to the current plans disclosed by Russian media. Says 3 more Boris-class submarines are being built. The Nyas Pozharsky, the Dmitry Donskoy, and the Nyas Potemkin. Slovakia, my Russian isn't that great. It says 2 additional boats are also planned, according to Russian media. And again, as you can see, Russia's still preparing, for war, because, Russia is going to, destroy America, ultimately. You do have, the other nations that are going to shoot their missiles over here as well. But, primarily it's going to be Russia that's going to get the job done, So I'm going to start in the book of Isaiah, chapter 54 and verse 16. And it says, behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy. And yes, that's pretty much what the U.S., Russia, China, North Korea, and these other countries are doing. They're pretty much developing their nuclear weapons. The Smith that, are building these weapons, again, will go back to, those scientists, And then again, because I brought this out last time, I'm going to read this in the NLT, because sometimes, the NLT goes, into a little bit more detail, So this is Isaiah 54 and 16 in the NLT, and it says, I have created the blacksmith who fans the coals beneath the forge and makes the weapons of destruction, and I have created the armies that destroy. And again, these missiles are a part of the Lord's army, They are a part of the Lord's army. And that's pretty much what the Smith does, as it says, they create weapons of destruction, and those current weapons of destruction are these nuclear missiles, So I'm going to come to the book of Ezekiel, chapter 38, and I'm going to start at verse 2. And it says, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him, and say, Thus saith the Lord of power, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet, Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah of the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee. Be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. So yes, Russia's pretty much going to be a guard unto, all these nations, all of those Arab nations over there in the Middle East, as it says, Persia, Ethiopia and Libya, the Elamites, and certain Hamitic, countries, again, Ethiopia, Russia is going to be a guard to these places, because again, these other nations hate America as well, but that's pretty much what the Lord is doing. He's stirring up that old USSR spirit, in Russia. This is why he is having, Vladimir Putin do what he's doing, because again, he's going to be, one of the main factors in World War III, on a lower scale, because ultimately we know that, our Lord Yahweh Shai is ultimately going to destroy this place, but, Vladimir Putin is pretty much going to lead that charge, So I'm going to go to all right. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 13 and verse 2. This is the point I wanted to make. And it says, "And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority." And yes, this is pretty much John the Revelator, being showed what the beast is, which the modern day beast is America, being patterned after, ancient Rome, but the feet of the bear would be Russia, because Russia is ultimately going to take down America, So that's the point I wanted to bring out, with that scripture. And let me see, I think that is also, it's Jeremiah chapter 51 and verse 1. And it says, "Thus saith the Lord, Behold, I will raise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me a destroying wind, and I will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her and shall empty her land, for in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about." So yes, that destroying wind being, ultimately once these missiles hit, it's going to create, that explosion, because once, those missiles detonate, it's then going to create, that wall of fire that's pretty much going to push, through the land, and that's that destroying wind, that wall of fire. The best example will be, the scene from Terminator 2 when Sarah Connor had that dream that she was pretty much destroyed by missiles, that fire is going to sweep through these cities, and it's going to melt everything, so I'm going to bring that out. Second Peter chapter 3 and verse 10, and it says, "But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up." And yes, Esau, Edom, and all his works, they're going to be burned. America is going to be destroyed, because this is the wickedest kingdom, to ever exist. America is pretty much a foreshadowing of every ancient kingdom that rose and fell, primarily, because America is also spiritually known as Egypt. We know why it's spiritually called Sodom, but America is primarily, Rome all over again, because it's the same nation of people that were in power during the rule of the Greeks, or, just the Greco-Roman Empire, are the same people that are in power today. The same people that were in power when our Lord Yahweh Shai was crucified, it's the exact same people, that are in power today when he's set to come back. So Esau, he has, a very, very extreme judgment coming. The Lord isn't playing, So I'm going to come to the book of Zechariah, chapter 14 and verse 12, and just to prove just how serious these nukes are, because the sun burns at 15 million degrees Celsius. These missiles are going to burn at 100 million degrees Celsius, so they're going to burn way hotter than the sun, and people are literally going to be melted, while they stand upon their feet. So this is the book of Zechariah, chapter 14 and verse 12, and it says, "And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth." And yes, that's just a vivid description of how, these missiles, that fire from these missiles are going to do, or what they're going to do, to these people. Again, Lord willing, we're found worthy to escape this destruction, because it's going to be very great, like there's nothing pleasant about burning to death. The same God that flooded this entire earth with water is the same God that's going to, bring fire upon this earth. There's nothing pleasant about drowning. There's definitely nothing pleasant about being burned alive, because that's not a quick death. It's slow. And then the Lord can also slow down time, and then again, who knows how long exactly this fire is going to burn, because America's going to be on fire for, a long time, because, you can't just put out, a nuclear fire. It pretty much has to put itself out. So, this land is going to burn, for a minute. And then eventually, once, it's done burning, those desert creatures are going to, dwell here, going to Isaiah 34, giving a description of how America is going to look, after this destruction takes place, So I'm going to end it on this. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 9. And I'm going to start at verse 15. And it says, "And the 4 angels were loosed." Slucky, before I bring that out, before I end it on that, I'm going to go to the book of Revelation, chapter 7. And it says, Revelation 7:1, and it says, "After these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree." So again, there's pretty much angels that are holding back this destruction, because again, this destruction is set for an appointed time, which again, going back to Revelation chapter 9 and verse 15, it's given that description. So it says, Revelation 9 and 15, and it says, "And the 4 angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year, for to slay the 3rd part of men." And you have 3 classes of men. You have the sons of God, which would be the nation of Israel, all 12 tribes from Judah down to Issachar. You have the sons of men, which are, the other nations, the other heathen nations, and the sons of the wicked, which would be Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. That's who, this destruction ultimately is for him. You do have 2/3, that are going to be caught in this destruction, as well as any other heathen nation that's just over here, in America. Verse 16, and the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000, and I heard the number of them. And thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them, having breastplates of fire and of jacinth and brimstone, and the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions, and out of their mouths issued fire and smoke and brimstone. By these was the third part of men killed by the fire and by the smoke and by the brimstone, which issued out of their mouths, for their power is in their mouth and in their tails, for their tails were like unto serpents, and had heads, and with them they do hurt. And yes, again, that's describing these missiles, ultimately these warheads, because once these missiles are launched, they're going to be launched into space. They're going to leave the ozone layer, get their specific, trajectory, their specific targets. Then they're going to come back down on the earth. It's like then they're going to, come back. Yeah. They're going to come back to the earth, They're going to come back on fire because they're going to be traveling so fast, And then again, the heads like lions, again, that's describing, those warheads, because again, they're going to be on fire, while they're traveling. And then the tails like serpents is describing that rocket system that's going to be propelling them, to their specific targets, because again, the part of the missile that does the most damage is the warhead itself, and these missiles are going to carry multiple warheads. Just like it said, these SLBMs, these submarine, launched ballistic missiles, this particular one that Russia has, one can carry up to 6 missiles. It's like one missile can carry up to 6 warheads. And they said one submarine has 16 of these missiles. That's 96 warheads in one submarine, So this is a real thing, and that's how great, this destruction is going to be, 200,000, pretty much an innumerable amount of missiles is going to hit this land, So, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. I'd like to give double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who I learned this truth from, and I'd like to say peace and salutations unto the hopeful elect. Till the next time I say Shalom.